The gathering storm, the vast council chamber of the Galactic Union, buzzed with tension as delegates from across the galaxy gathered for an emergency session. Ambassador Krell from the Altarian Empire stood at the center podium, his blue skin gleaming under the chamber's lights. Around him, representatives from dozens of species murmured in their native tongues, creating a symphony of alien voices. "Fellow beings," Krell began, his voice carrying through the universal translators, "we face an unprecedented threat. The humans of Earth have begun construction of something they call Project Titan." A ripple of dismissive laughter swept through the chamber. Commander Vex of the Reptilian Confederacy leaned back in his chair, his scaled face twisted in amusement. Humans? Those primitive creatures who barely discovered faster-than-light travel 50 years ago. What could they possibly build that would concern us? The holographic display activated, showing satellite images of massive construction sites. Across Earth, towering skeletal structures rose from the planet's surface, reaching toward the sky like metal giants. The scale was enormous. Each frame appeared to be several kilometers tall. "Our intelligence suggests they are building some form of mechanical warrior," Krell continued, his tone growing more serious. "The energy readings from their construction sites are off the charts. They're using technologies we don't recognize." General Knox, a four-armed warrior from the Crimson Sector, slammed one of his fists on the table. "Let them build their toys. We have fleets that can reduce entire star systems to dust. What can one planet of hairless apes accomplish?" The chamber erupted in agreement. Species after species stood to voice their dismissal of the human threat. The Crystalline Collective's representative, a being of pure energy, pulsed with what could only be described as laughter. "We have observed human military capabilities. They still use chemical propulsion and metal projectiles. Their largest warships are smaller than our escort vessels." But not everyone shared this confidence. Elder Zara from the Wise Ones, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, remained silent throughout the mockery. Her ancient eyes studied the images with deep concern. She had lived through the rise and fall of countless civilizations, and something about the humans' project felt different, dangerous. "You underestimate them," she finally spoke, her voice cutting through the laughter like a blade. The chamber fell silent out of respect for her age and wisdom. "I have studied the humans for decades. They are not like us. When cornered, they do not surrender. When faced with impossible odds, they do not retreat. They adapt, they innovate, they fight." "Commander." Vex rolled his eyes. "Respect to you, Elder, but adaptation means nothing against superior firepower. We could glass their planet tomorrow if we chose." "Could we?" Elder Zara asked quietly. "Then why haven't we? Why do we continue to issue warnings and threats instead of action? Perhaps because somewhere in our minds, we know there's something different about them." The debate continued for hours, with most delegates agreeing that the humans posed no real threat. They had already issued multiple warnings to Earth, demanding they cease construction of their mysterious project. Each warning had been ignored, with human representatives sending back simple messages. "We are building this for our own protection. We mean no harm to any peaceful species." As the session drew to a close, the Galactic Union reached a unanimous decision, almost unanimous. They would issue one final warning to Earth. If the humans did not comply within 30 standard days, they would face the combined might of the galactic fleet. Elder Zara abstained from the vote, her ancient mind troubled by memories of other species who had been underestimated. She remembered the Silicon Wraiths, who had nearly conquered half the galaxy with technology no one understood. She recalled the Void Walkers, who had appeared from nowhere and disappeared just as quickly, leaving only empty star systems behind. As the delegates dispersed, chattering excitedly about the coming demonstration of galactic power, Elder Zara remained in her seat. She accessed the human data files again, studying their history, their wars, their incredible ability to turn desperate situations into victories. The humans had a saying she had learned: necessity is the mother of invention. What necessity, she wondered, could drive them to build something so massive, so ambitious, that it required the resources of their entire planet? On Earth, the construction continued. Day and night, millions of humans worked on Project Titan, their faces grim with determination. They had heard the warnings, felt the threats pressing down on them from the stars above. But they remembered another saying, one that had carried them through countless dark times: when you're going through hell, keep going. The galaxy had given them 30 days. They would need every single one of them ** deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. In a facility that didn't exist on any official map, President Miller stood before the largest holographic display ever constructed. The three-dimensional image showed Project Titan in all its terrifying glory, a mechanical giant that dwarfed skyscrapers, its frame stretching into the clouds above. "Sir, we've received another transmission from the Galactic Union," reported General Hayes, his weathered face grim. "They're demanding we cease construction immediately. They're calling it a threat to galactic peace." Miller's jaw tightened. Threat to galactic peace? They've been threatening us for months. Every week, another species joins their coalition, promising to bring humanity to heel. They think we're building a weapon. Dr. Elena Ross, the chief engineer of Project Titan, looked up from her workstation. Her eyes were bloodshot from countless sleepless nights, but her voice remained steady. "In a way, we are building a weapon. Just not the kind they think." The president turned to face the brilliant scientist who had made this impossible project possible. "Explain it to me again, Doctor, in simple terms." Elena gestured to the hologram. "Every species in the galaxy has developed according to their homeworld's conditions. The Altarians evolved on a low-gravity world with thin atmosphere. The reptilians come from a desert planet with extreme temperatures. Each species adapted to their environment, then built technology to support their natural abilities." "And humans?" asked General Hayes. "Humans are different. We come from a death world." Elena's words hung in the air like a challenge. "Earth has every climate imaginable, every natural disaster, every form of hostile environment. We didn't adapt. To one condition we adapted to survive anything. That's why they fear us, even if they don't realize it yet." She manipulated the hologram, showing internal schematics of the Titan. "This isn't just a robot. It's a testament to human engineering, human determination, and human ingenuity. Every system has 17 backup systems. Every component can be repaired in the field with basic tools. It's designed to function in any environment, against any threat." President Miller studied the massive figure before him. "How long until it's operational?" "The primary systems are already online. The neural interface is calibrated. We just need to complete the final armor plating and weapon systems integration. 22 days, sir. 22 days. 8 days before the galactic ultimatum expired." Miller felt the weight of humanity's future pressing down on his shoulders. "And our pilot?" "Captain Torres is ready," Elena replied. "She's been training in the neural interface for 6 months. The connection is stable. Response time is instantaneous. She can control the Titan as naturally as walking." In another part of the facility, Captain Maria Torres sat in a chair that looked more like a throne, surrounded by a web of neural cables and quantum processors. The interface crown rested on her head, its metal tendrils connecting directly to her nervous system. Through the neural link, she could feel the Titan systems humming with potential energy. Maria had been a fighter pilot before the project began, known for her steady nerves and lightning-fast reflexes. Now she was something unprecedented. Human consciousness merged with a machine of unimaginable power. When she moved her hand, the Titan's massive arm responded. When she turned her head, sensors across the giant's hull tracked her movement. "How are you feeling today, Captain?" asked Dr. Chun, the lead neurologist monitoring her vital signs. "Like I'm carrying the weight of the world," Maria replied, her voice carrying a strange echo through the neural link. "But I've never felt more ready for anything in my life." Back in the command center, emergency alerts began flashing across the screens. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures throughout the galaxy," reported Lieutenant Blake from the communications station. "It looks like they're mobilizing their fleets." President Miller nodded grimly. "How many ships?" "Conservative estimate. 12,000 vessels from 47 different species. They're converging on our solar system." The room fell silent. 12,000 ships. Even if each one was relatively small compared to what humanity might eventually build, the sheer numbers were staggering. Earth's entire space fleet consisted of maybe 200 ships, and most of those were exploratory vessels with minimal weapons. "Sir," General Hayes said quietly, "maybe we should consider negotiation. 12,000 ships? No." Miller's voice was steel. "We tried negotiation. We explained our intentions. They dismissed us as primitives. They made their choice when they decided to unite against us instead of listening to us." Alina looked up from her calculations. "Sir, even if we complete the Titan on schedule, it's one unit against 12,000 ships. The power requirements alone—" "Doctor," Miller interrupted, "you told me this machine was designed to function in any environment, against any threat. Does that include this threat?" Elena was quiet for a long moment, her mind racing through possibilities and calculations. Finally, she nodded. "Yes, sir. But it's going to push every system to its absolute limit." "Then we push," Miller said. "We have 22 days to finish humanity's greatest creation. 22 days to prove that being human means never giving up, no matter the odds." Outside, the construction continued around the clock. Millions of workers, engineers, and technicians labored with desperate purpose. They knew the galaxy was coming. They knew the odds were impossible. But they also knew they were human. And humans had never met an impossible situation they couldn't make possible. The edge of the solar system erupted in brilliant flashes of light as 12,000 ships dropped out of hyperspace. The combined fleet of the Galactic Union stretched across space like a metallic constellation, each vessel bristling with weapons that could crack planets. At the center of this armada, the massive flagship Eternal Glory served as the command center for the most overwhelming display of force in galactic history. Admiral Kor stood on the bridge of the flagship, his 6 arms crossed in satisfaction. The insectoid warrior had led campaigns across 3 sectors, and no enemy had ever withstood his might. Behind him, holographic displays showed the pathetic human defenses, a few hundred small ships scattered throughout their system, none larger than a frigate. "This is almost insulting," muttered Captain Voss, a reptilian officer studying the tactical readouts. "They have no orbital platforms, no defense stations, no fleet formations. Are they planning to surrender?" "Humans don't surrender," came a voice from the back of the bridge. Elder Zara had insisted on joining the fleet, despite the protests of the other commanders. "That's what makes them dangerous." Admiral Kor's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Dangerous?" "Elder, with respect, they have nothing. Our sensors show only industrial activity on their planet's surface. Whatever they're building, it's not a fleet." The massive view screen showed Earth hanging in space like a blue marble, seemingly defenseless. But as the fleet drew closer, the scale of human activity became apparent. Entire continents glowed with the light of construction, massive factories, working at impossible speeds. Energy readings spiked across the planet's surface, showing levels of industrial output that defied belief. "How are they powering all of this?" asked Commander Dex, studying the energy signatures. These readings suggest they're using more power than some entire star systems. They're burning through their planet's resources, Admiral Kor replied. Dismissively, typical human short-sightedness. They're destroying their own world to build whatever pointless project they think will save them. But Elder Zara was studying the readings more carefully. The energy patterns were unlike anything she'd seen before, not the clean, efficient power systems used by most galactic civilizations, but something raw and powerful. They're not just using fusion reactors, she said quietly. They're doing something with their planet's core itself. On Earth, the final preparations were reaching a fever pitch. In the underground facility, alarms blared as technicians rushed between stations. President Miller stood before a massive tactical display showing the alien fleet's approach, his face carved from stone. They're not even trying to hide their numbers, reported General Hayes. 12,000 ships in a standard attack formation. They want us to see them coming. Of course they do, Miller replied. They think this is a show of force to make a surrender. They still don't understand what we're building. Dr. Elena Ross appeared on the main screen from the construction site. Her face was streaked with sweat and exhaustion, but her eyes burned with determination. Mr. President, we're ready for final activation. All systems are green, all backup. Systems are online. Captain Torres is in position. Time to completion? 6 hours for full system integration. But, sir, the fleet will be in weapons range in 4 hours. Miller felt the weight of the moment. Humanity's greatest gamble was about to be tested. Doctor, can the Titan function at partial capacity? Elena hesitated. The basic systems are operational. Mobility, primary weapons, defensive systems. But the advanced capabilities, the things that make this project truly revolutionary, those need the full integration sequence. Then we make do with what we have. Miller turned to his communication officer. Open a channel to the alien fleet. Across space, Admiral Kor received the transmission. A human face appeared on his screen holder, weathered, but showing no fear despite the impossible odds. This is President Miller of Earth. You have entered our solar system with a hostile fleet. State your intentions. Kor's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. Human leader, I am Admiral Kor of the Galactic Union. You have been warned repeatedly to cease construction of your weapon. You have ignored our warnings. Surrender now, and your species will be relocated to a suitable world under Union supervision. And if we refuse, then your planet will be reduced to molten slag, and your species will be extinct within the hour. Miller's expression never changed. Admiral, you've made a fundamental error in your calculations. You assume we built our project to attack you. You're wrong. We built it to defend ourselves. And there's a significant difference. One machine against 12,000 ships? Kor's voice carried across the void. Your mathematics are flawed, human. Our mathematics are perfect, Miller replied calmly. You see, you've spent so long being the strongest species in the galaxy that you've forgotten what it means to fight for survival. We haven't. Every human on this planet understands that losing isn't an option. The transmission cut, leaving the bridge of the eternal glory in stunned silence. Admiral Kor stared at the empty screen, disturbed by the absolute certainty in the human's voice. Sir, his tactical officer reported, massive energy spike detected on Earth's surface. Something's happening. On Earth, the ground began to shake. Not with earthquake tremors, but with the rhythmic pulse of something immense awakening. Construction scaffolding fell away like shed skin as Project Titan opened its eyes for the first time. Captain Torres felt the moment through every fiber of her being. The neural connection suddenly blazed with sensation as the Titan systems came fully online. She could feel the planet beneath her feet the sky above her head, the alien fleet hanging in space like a distant threat. "All systems responding?" she reported, her voice carrying the weight of mountains. "Project Titan is operational." The galaxy was about to learn what humans could build when their backs were against the wall. Asterisk. The first sign wasn't visual, it was seismic. Earthquake sensors across 3 continents registered a rhythmic pulse that seemed to emanate from the Earth's core itself. Then came the sound, a deep harmonic that resonated through the planet's crust like a heartbeat of steel and stone. Admiral Core watched his tactical displays with growing confusion. "What are those readings? The entire planet is vibrating." "Sir, massive structural movement detected across multiple sites," reported his sensor officer. "It's like the planet itself is transforming." On Earth's surface, the impossible became reality. What the alien satellites had mistaken for separate construction sites across different continents began to move. Massive metal limbs, each the size of a city, lifted from hidden underground chambers. The construction sites weren't building separate machines. They were building parts of one incomprehensibly vast construct. From the Pacific Ocean, a torso the size of a mountain range emerged, water cascading from its shoulders like waterfalls. From the Atlantic, massive arms unfolded, each finger capable of grasping entire spaceships. From the continental masses, legs that could span nations pushed against the Earth's surface. Captain Torres felt every movement through the neural link. Her consciousness expanded beyond anything human had ever experienced. She wasn't just controlling a machine, she was becoming something larger than life itself. Through the Titan's sensors, she could perceive the alien fleet hanging in space like gnats against the stars. Asterisk. "My God," whispered Dr. Elena Ross from the command center. "It's actually working. A scale is even more massive than our projections." President Miller stood transfixed as the holographic displays showed the Titan's full form for the first time. The machine was larger than most asteroids, its head reaching beyond the atmosphere. Each step sent tremors through the planet's crust, but the engineering was perfect. The Earth itself had been reinforced to handle the load. "Doctor," Miller said quietly, "what exactly have we built?" Elena's voice carried a mixture of pride and awe. "The first planet-scale defensive unit in galactic history. We used the Earth's core as a power source, the continental plates as structural supports, and the oceans as coolant systems. The Titan isn't just built on Earth, it is Earth's guardian." In space, the alien fleet recoiled as if struck. Ships that had been advancing in perfect formation suddenly broke ranks, their pilots struggling to comprehend what they were seeing. The blue marble of Earth now had a protector that dwarfed anything in their experience. "Impossible," Admiral Core breathed. "Nothing that large can function. The power requirements alone." "Sir, energy readings are off the charts," his tactical officer reported. "It's drawing power directly from the planet's core. This isn't just a machine, it's a hybrid of technology and planetary engineering." "Elder." Zara moved to the front of the bridge, her ancient eyes reflecting something that might have been respect. "They didn't build a weapon," she said softly. "They built a guardian. They turned their entire world into a fortress." The Titan's head turned toward the alien fleet, and Captain Torres spoke through speakers that could be heard across the vacuum of space itself. Her voice carried the weight of every human who had ever lived, every struggle humanity had overcome, every victory snatched from the jaws of defeat. "Galactic Union Fleet, this is Earth's guardian. You came here expecting to find a defenseless world. You were wrong. This is our home, and we will defend it with everything we have." Admiral Core found his voice. "Human pilot, you control an impressive machine, but you are still one unit against 12,000 ships. Surrender now, and we will show mercy." Torres' laughter resonated through space like thunder. "Mercy? You threaten to destroy our world and call it mercy? You understand nothing about humanity. We don't surrender. We don't retreat. We fight. The Titan's arms moved with impossible grace for something so massive. From its shoulders, weapon systems emerged that dwarfed anything in the alien fleet. But they weren't the crude kinetic weapons the aliens expected. They were energy projectors that drew power from the planet's magnetic field itself. All ships, attack formation, Admiral Kor commanded. Concentrate fire on the construct's joints. Everything has a weakness. The alien fleet opened fire. 12,000 ships unleashing enough firepower to sterilize continents. Energy beams and plasma bolts struck the Titan's armor in a light show, visible from the outer planets. For a moment, it seemed like the sheer volume of fire might overwhelm even humanity's greatest creation. But the Titan stood firm. Its armor wasn't just metal. It was a composite of every defensive material humanity had ever developed, backed by force fields powered by the planet's core. The bombardment that should have destroyed it barely scratched its surface. Impossible, Kor whispered. Nothing can withstand that much firepower. Captain Torres' voice cut through the chaos. You're right. Nothing you've encountered before could withstand that. But you've never faced humans before. You've never faced a species that turns impossible odds into victory. The Titan raised one massive arm, and space itself seemed to bend around its weapon. Systems, our turn. What happened next would be remembered across the galaxy for generations. The humans had built more than a guardian. They had built a statement. A declaration that Earth would never bow to alien threats. No matter how overwhelming, the real battle was about to begin. Asterisk. What happened in the next 30 seconds changed the course of awe. Galactic history forever. The Titan's weapon systems activated with a sound like reality tearing. Energy drawn from Earth's magnetic field and focused through crystalline. Arrays built into the planet's crust created something unprecedented, a weapon that didn't just destroy ships, but temporarily disrupted the fabric of space itself. First pulse swept through the alien fleet like a wave of pure annihilation. Not a beam or projectile, but a field of energy that simply erased everything it touched. 300 ships vanished in an instant, leaving no debris, no explosions. Just empty space where they had been. Admiral Kor's bridge erupted in chaos. What was that? What kind of weapon? Sir, it's not targeting our ships individually, his tactical officer reported, voice shaking. It's targeting space itself. The weapon is creating localized reality distortions. Our shields are useless. Against it. The Titan's other arm rose, and a second pulse swept through the fleet. Another 500 ships simply ceased to exist. The remaining vessels scattered in panic, their perfect formation dissolving into desperate flight patterns. Captain. Torres felt the weapon's power coursing through her consciousness. Through the neural link, she could perceive the quantum mechanics of the device, understand its operation on a level that transcended normal human comprehension. Fleet Commander, she broadcast, you wanted to see what humans build when threatened. This is our answer. But the Titan wasn't finished. Its head turned toward the largest concentration of fleeing ships, and its eyes' energy projectors the size of moons began to glow. The light wasn't harsh or blinding, but somehow penetrating, as if it could see through the universe itself. All ships retreat to hyperspace, Admiral Kor commanded. Full withdrawal, emergency protocols. Sir, we can't, his navigation officer replied. The energy fields are interfering with our hyperspace engines. We're trapped in normal space. Elder. Zara moved to the Admiral's side, her ancient face calm despite the catastrophe unfolding around them. Admiral, order the fleet to power down all weapons and broadcast the surrender signal. Surrender? Kor's mandibles clicked in disbelief. We still have 11,000 ships. We have 11,000 ships that cannot escape and cannot fight, Zara corrected. Look at your tactical displays. The human weapon isn't just destroying our vessels, it's learning. Each pulse is more precise than the last. They're not trying to annihilate us quickly. They're showing us exactly how outmatched we are. She was right. The Titan's third attack was surgical in its precision. It targeted only the weapon systems of the remaining ships, leaving the vessels intact but completely defenseless. The message was clear. Humanity could have destroyed the entire fleet, but chose restraint. President Miller watched the battle from the command center, his face reflecting the weight of the moment. Captain Torres, cease fire. Open a channel. To the alien fleet. Through the neural link, Torres' voice carried across space with the authority of a force of nature. Galactic Union Fleet, this is Earth's guardian. You came here to destroy our world. We have demonstrated that we can defend ourselves. We could destroy your entire fleet in minutes, but we choose not to. We are not the aggressors here. Admiral Kor's response was quiet, defeated. Human guardian, we acknowledge your superiority. What are your terms? Our terms are simple. Torres replied, leave our system. Return to your worlds. Tell the galaxy what you have seen here. Humanity asks nothing more than to be left in peace. But if anyone threatens our home again, they will face the same response. The alien fleet began its withdrawal, ships limping away from Earth's solar system with their weapons offline and there. Pride shattered. But as they departed, something unexpected happened. Ships from dozens of different species began broadcasting on private channels, not to their governments, but to Earth itself. Human defenders, came one transmission from a Chong. Crystalline collective vessel. Our government forced us to join this fleet. We want you to know that not all of us supported this aggression. Some of us have been waiting for someone to stand up to the Union's tyranny. More messages followed. Species that had been conquered or coerced into joining the Galactic Alliance began reaching out to humanity. Word spread through the galaxy at the speed of light. A single world had stood against the combined might of 12,000 ships and one dot in the weeks that followed. The political landscape of the galaxy shifted dramatically. The Galactic Union's authority crumbled as member species questioned their leadership. Elder Zara, upon returning to her own world, spoke the words that would echo through history. We thought we were the apex of galactic civilization. The humans taught us that we were merely its beginning. Back on Earth, the Titan returned to its dormant state, its massive form settling back into the planet's surface. But it remained ready, a guardian eternal, a reminder that humanity would never again be caught defenseless. Captain Torres emerged from the neural link changed by the experience. She had touched something beyond human scale, felt the weight of defending an entire world. When asked by reporters what it felt like to pilot humanity's greatest creation, she simply said, it felt like coming home. The galaxy had dismissed every warning, had ignored every sign of human capability. They had seen Earth as just another primitive world to be conquered or controlled. But humans had proven something fundamental about their species. When pushed to the edge, they don't fall. They build titans. And the galaxy would never forget the day Earth's guardian took its first step into legend. Asterisk.